Hi guys, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Pieter-Louis.
Welcome to our podcast Legends and Lure, a world tour where we explore the eerie, the mysterious, and the legendary. Today we're diving into the chilling world of Romanian vampires. But these aren't your Hollywood bloodsuckers. These are the Strigoi.
Strigoi.
Sorry, Google translates it as Strigoi. Creatures that rise from the grave to torment the living. And trust me, the real life cases are even more terrifying than the legends. Have you ever woken up feeling drained, as if something was feeding on your energy while you slept? I have to say, I do wake up feeling drained a lot. Do you think we have a deceased relative we have to look into?
Or toddlers. Or we have toddlers.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, in Romania, that might mean you've been visited by a strigoi. So picture this. It's 2003. Yes, 2003, not 1900s, 2003. In a small town, in a small Romanian village. A man named Toma Petra has just passed away. His family mourns his loss. But 6 weeks later, his relatives dig up his body, remove his heart, burns it, and mixes the ashes into a drink. And then they actually drink the liquid. Why, you ask? Because they believed he had turned into a strigoi and believed this would save them and finally put Toma's soul to rest. It sounds like something out of a horror movie, right? But this isn't fiction. This actually happened. And cases like Toma Petra's are why the legend of the strigoi has persisted for centuries. The belief of strigoi isn't just an old superstition. It shaped real life actions even in the 21st century. What is a strigoi, you ask? Down the rabbit hole we go. The word strigoi comes from the Latin strix, meaning owl or witch, and it has haunted Romanian folklore for generations. Unlike the sophisticated vampires in pop culture, strigoi are often described as undead spirits that torment their families or seek revenge. They are feared as powerful entities linked to vampire legends and may have influenced Bram Stoker's book Dracula, written in 1897.
Interesting thing is on Google Translate, when we did the whole Strigoi, Google Translate earlier, Strigoi also means ghost in Romanian. So it's all connected together. It's like, is it a vampire? Is it a ghost? Is it actually something they've seen? It just makes it interesting.
They do see it in their dreams and so on.
Well, that does make it ghosty.
True. There are two main types of strigois, the living strigoi and the dead strigoi. The living strigoi are said to be people born with supernatural traits, red hair, an extra nipple, or being the seventh child of the same gender. Sorry, big families. These individuals supposedly have the ability to leave their bodies at night and drain the energy of others, much like vampires. They are said to be living witches.
With extra nipples.
And red hair. Sorry, guys. It's not me, I swear. Then, there are the dead strigoi. Strigoi. Those who return from the grave. They often start as restless spirits, haunting loved ones in the dreams or causing illness and misfortune. But if left unchecked, they can physically rise from their graves and spread their curse. They are seen as vampires and zombies. So there's a lot of different things.
So it's a vampire, it's a zombie, it's a ghost, it's a third nipple, it's a ginger.
It's a dead energy. There's
It's
nothing wrong with
energy.
ginger.
Well, except if you eat it. Yeah.
Just know. How does someone become a strigoi? If you die unnaturally or before baptism, you can become a strigoi.
So it's very religiously motivated. So you weren't baptized, and now you come back as a ghost or a vampire.
It's not
Allegedly.
specifically religion, but yes, there is a lot of religious parts I see here and there, but everything isn't around religion now. If you are the seventh child of the same sex in a family, if you are a child of a woman who didn't eat salt.
Right, let's go back. So the seventh child. So that means big families. And if you're all boys, boy number 7,
If you think
you
about
vampire.
if you think about the olden days, where people died often and so on. Most families were big families.
So it was just basically luck of the draw.
Yeah,
It's
sorry, dude.
So we're going to try for number 7 now, the vampire child. Let's call
I
him.
just want to say,
Let's call him Dracula, and let's make him wear black his whole life, and hopefully when he dies, he goes vampire.
my question
and he
is, if
spares
this is
us.
your belief, if this is your actual belief, and you know you have 6 girls or 6 boys, why would you try for the 7th? If this is in your actual belief system.
What if they were twins? If number 6 was a twin,
Oh, I didn't think about that.
then what? They flip a coin.
First one that comes out.
Yeah, make one of them sleep in a coffin tonight and see what happens. No, but that's a big family. It's 7 children. I don't know, and they all basically still even they died. They all died.
Well, there's living and
1897. That means families of like 14. What was the ratio? I think 23% or 25% of people survived. Of the
I
children?
don't know. You're making up facts.
No,
Let's
I'm
not
making
make up facts.
No, I do know this. Wait. What was it? 1897.
Okay, while you're figuring that out, I'm going to continue here. If you are a child of a woman who didn't eat salt or was seen by a vampire while pregnant, so sorry, your 7th child looked at you. You are now a vampire. Bam. I feel like if the village in Romania are correct about all the vampires, then this would mean that all of the children become Strigois in the end. If you think about it. Because if a pregnant woman sees a vampire and you're saying that most of you people around you are apparently vampires. This is, yeah, I think the whole village.
How does a
is just-
vampire know you're pregnant?
The
You have to
vampire doesn't know. You just by, it's not that you know, you don't have to know it's a vampire you're seeing. You just have to see a vampire. So if you don't know I'm a vampire, well, let's turn it around. If I don't know you're a vampire and I'm pregnant, sorry for me, I'm now a vampire. Or the kid. Wait.
Wait, what did you say about salt?
If you are a child of a woman who didn't eat salt. So apparently salt is very important, guys. Put that salt on your food.
Yeah, it's before you get pregnant, eat all them salts.
No, it doesn't say before you get pregnant. It only says, or was seen by a vampire while pregnant.
That's a really strange
No,
one.
wait, yes, it's pregnant. Sorry. If you're a child of a woman who didn't eat salt. Yes, okay, sorry, it is pregnant.
Yeah, so eat salt.
Lots of it.
That's,
Don't worry if the doctor says it's bad for you and the baby. Just
just imagine.
add a little extra
Little-
seasoning on there.
Candlelight, romantic dinner, add some salts. Oh, you just moved everything up. I'm somewhere else now.
Sorry.
Don't press buttons. Let's get back to salt. The
Okay.
salt thing is getting to me now. But anyway, romantic salt dinner, get pregnant, go.
If you were witches or were bitten by a vampire, you become a Strigoi. According to legend, a person who dies with deep regret or pain may first transform into a cat or dog before fully returning to a Strigoi. Strigoi. A newly turned Strigoi is already immensely strong. Able to snap a human's neck instantly, their heightened senses make it nearly impossible to sneak up on them, and their bite is said to be intoxicating due to the endorphins released through their fangs. So obviously it's like a drug as well. So
It still just confuses me a slight bit now because, firstly, it's a ghost, but it's a vampire, but it's a zombie,
let's just accept it's a being.
but it's got super strength. So, if you have to define vampire, that means you've seen it, or someone has seen it and made all these little things, all these little rules about it being super strong and having endorphins. Then it can't be a ghost anymore, can it? And then probably not a zombie because a zombie has its own definition. A zombie is defined as the undead.
You're looking.
Eating brains.
You're still looking into the Dracula and the made-up fiction of what a vampire should be. This is not just your made-up vampires. This is your. They lived it. They saw it.
But this is Strigoi. It's
Yes, but that's the
allegedly a
thing.
vampire. Because
Yeah, it's a Strigoi. So that's why we're looking into it. It's not what we're used to. It's not your normal blood-sucking, I can't go into the sun vampire types. It's I rise from the dead, and I come and haunt you basically like a ghost.
But I can bite you and I am strong.
Yes, and it's not just about the bite. It's I can actually drain you of your life force. So they can physically make you die. That's why the villagers are so upset when they realize a family member becomes a Strigoi, because they can physically kill you from the grave.
This is the part where I do my little fun fact about the old tuberculosis. The
Yes,
reason
you-
why.
You can say if you think there's a reason.
No, it's just back in Romania and most of Europe, especially in what is it, the 1890s, 1870s, 1890s, about that the issue of consumption, TB, tuberculosis, which they basically you family member just died and you didn't actually know why. With TB, there's not many symptoms except for getting really tired and dying, which is basically where the draining of life force comes from. But then you get where they actually dug up some family members. They would believe, okay, let's say my family member is a vampire. They go dig it up, and then they'll see the red lips. And there was also something about TB is if you died, you still look quite alive longer before any form of decomposition happens. So you still look better. You've got the red lips. And then they had the idea that you actually stood up.
You don't look decomposed yet.
Yeah. You don't look decomposed yet with the red lips. And they said, okay, well, that makes you a vampire. And that was just basically all the
Okay, and
part
then
of
you obviously
TB.
feel bad because you would also contract TB.
Yeah, and so they said,
tuberculosis.
I think they said basically then, once the Strigoi saw
Strigoi.
you, Strigoi, I think we can call it either way.
Nah,
Let's just go
no,
for let's just
try
go for
and
Strigoi.
No, let's get one thing. Try and get one name
Okay,
right.
fine, Strigoi. So if
Sounds French.
Okay, Strigoi saw you at night. Your family members got up from the grave, got to you. You started feeling sick because Strigoi saw you, but actually just you also got TB. Because if one person in the family gets TB, the next one will probably get it as well.
I have one problem with your theory.
Why?
If you do not treat tuberculosis, you will not get better. They get better once they kill their vampire family member.
Did they get better?
They say they feel better the very next day.
Because I know I saw photos somewhere of them actually putting cages over graves to keep the Strigoi in. And when they were dug up, again, red lips, still looking alive. I can't see them actually getting healthy from killing someone.
There's actual stories, and these villages, it's really, in Romanian villages, this is an actual big belief. It's not, I don't think we hear about or see about because they keep it in the village, but this is an actual, they all have it, and so the whole village isn't killed out. They do believe there's pandemics and stuff, or big diseases or something. They believe it's a Strigoi.
But I don't get it. This is Europe. This is well, like I said, this is 2003. This thing, the report you're talking about, this is Europe. It's not middle of
A
Africa,
third world
in
country.
third world country in the middle of nowhere behind a bush.
It's a first world country.
Between three rocks. This is there's like buildings and
they
skyscrapers.
talk about village. Well, if you think about what happened,
You just call it a village. Village sounds old. Village now means it's just less than a couple of thousand people staying there, but it's still.
cultural. If you look at it, I mean, if you think what happens in Africa with that monkey, culture is a different thing. So, cultural belief is stronger than what they call fact beliefs. So, even if you tell them, I have this handbook and there's no way this thing can be living, you don't know. They feel bad. They drink the ashes of their dead relative and feel better. Who are you to argue? Why can they not be vampires? It doesn't have to be a blood-sucking, can't look in mirrors type of situation.
But anyway, I'm still sticking with TB. I'm not thinking it's TB.
I think you're wrong. I think it's
it's TB.
vampires. Okay, anyway. What are the powers and abilities of the Strigoi? According to Folklore Strigoi, The Strigoi are more powerful than typical vampires. Strigoi. Oh my. According to Folklore, Strigoi are more powerful than a typical vampire. Their abilities include shape-shifting, turning into creatures like owls, bats, wolves, and even spiders. Invisibility.
What if he
There
turned?
is invisibility. So it's not necessarily if you're a ghost, they can go invisible. That's why they're calling it a ghost.
But what if shape-shifting, you turn into a pregnant woman?
You're already a Strigoi, so who cares?
Oh.
Strigoi. Anyway, invisibility, vanishing at will. So therefore it looks like a ghost, but it's not a ghost. So there we have our vampire. There we have that sorted. Control over nature, summon storms, causing droughts, and triggering poltergeist activity. Immortality, they stop aging and become immune to disease. Astral projection, leaving their physical bodies and traveling to another plane or consciousness. Superhuman strength, strong enough to snap a human's neck or shatter a gravestone. Superhuman speed, moving faster than I can see.
So this is basically like all of them together. So basically,
This is why there's so many descriptions of the vampire. They see them as a witch, they see them as a ghost, they see them because they can obviously appear and reappear, and I don't see why it's
so
not
then
possible.
Strigoi can be just the bad thing. It's not one thing; it's a lot of things.
No,
It's
it's
a bad
one
thing.
thing.
Because
With a lot of abilities. It's still one thing.
it's basically everything that anyone's seen, whether or not it was real or not, they just blamed a word which is Strigoi, and then it became that. And now it looks like a vampire, but
They
it
didn't
could have
blame a
been-
word. They made a word up for trying to describe what they saw, what they're feeling, what's happening around them.
But it's like the whole paranormal activity. What makes? Why would it be a vampire? Why can't it just be a normal paranormal ghost?
Why not a
Because
vampire?
they called it ghost. They called it Strigoi. They had a word for it.
They call it that because of what it does. It's the same as bread. If you see a piece of bread, you're going to call it bread because it's bread. You're not going to call it something else because why don't you? Because you can put butter on it and then it's a piece of slice of bread. It's not. You can just. It's a Strigoi. That's the abilities. The reason that they have different things is people experience different parts of this vampire. Why does it have to be, if you remember, it's your family member, so you see him in different ways. So the family gets together and your granddad's like, I saw him in a dream. And niece is like, oh, he was in my doorway. It's different ways of seeing him. And then eventually it's the same person.
They don't smack that.
So eventually they realize that even though they think they saw a ghost of their relative, or they were standing in a doorway, they were in their dream, so they put all this together and it says Strigoi. Because the family came together and realized they all saw him or felt him in a different way. Or her.
But wouldn't that then be more poltergeisty?
That's why they're saying they have poltergeist. No, it's a Strigoi. Get
But
over
so
it.
pots and pans are moving in my kitchen. It has to be a vampire. Why can't it just be the poltergeist?
Because it's my family member. Until my family member died, my pots and pans didn't move. The moment I drank the ashes of my family member's heart, it stopped.
But wouldn't you think most of the paranormal stuff people see is just exaggerated fear?
No.
I think that's a big thing. Is the moment someone dies, there's fear that comes over you and your house, especially if, let's say, back then, and let's say in very religious or
Rural,
cultural aspects like this. Wouldn't you say they're just scared? So someone died, you are scared, you don't want to die, you're thinking about death, and now you hear something in the kitchen, and obviously
I think that
stuff
would
moved,
be.
and then, oh wait, this chair wasn't here just now. got you all by itself.
That would be 1 or 2 people, not the whole family.
Yeah, but by this point, they already killed number 7 because it became a Strigoi. And then all the other children got TB because they slept in the same room. So this is just mom and dad and one child left.
Once again, TB, you need medication. Your TB fury has been busted. You will not live past that.
They stopped dying because everybody died. That's just how.
Okay, and now what about everybody else? This happened in 2003, the story I just said.
Yeah, but still, if you have got TB now, people isolate you. They avoid you. If you start looking palish, there you go. Okay,
Yes, but
let
these
me
people
leave
are
you alone.
saying they felt better, not worse.
Allegedly.
No,
They also said they saw pots and pans moving in the
No,
kitchen.
no, they didn't. You said that.
So the same people that say they saw poltergeists say that they're feeling
No,
better.
you said that, not them.
Anyway. Okay, so what happens if a Strigoi does rise?
Unlike traditional vampires, garlic and
Got you
holy.
off guard. Anyway.
Unlike traditional vampires, garlic and holy water won't work other than for giving you a little bit of flavoring. The only way to stop a Strigoi is unmarried individuals must be stabbed in the heart with a sickle before burial to prevent them from rising. So
Okay,
not your current live person.
They have to be dead. Okay.
The person that you're scared is going to become a Strigoi must be stabbed if they are unmarried in the heart with a sickle.
Okay, but why not just stab everyone?
This is the way it goes. Don't
just stab.
Just
if
stick to.
you die, I'm embalming you. I'm going to stab you in the heart, and it's done.
Oh, you mean all the dead bodies? I thought
All
you
the
mean
dead
the
people.
live
No,
people
not the
too.
live. Well, you can do that as well. It's just it won't make sense. No, just stab all the dead ones. Stab all the and just stab everything that dies. Okay. Anyway,
I don't know. I might be offended if you stab my
that just would
family
have solved the
members.
problem all the way. Why bury the thing in the first place if you can just stab it and leave it? Now you
Not a
bury
thing,
it.
it's an actual person.
Now you bury the thing, and then it must have been a vampire. Let's go dig it up, all the sand, and let's go stabby, and then done.
Stabby.
Anyway,
Just know.
what else?
If a cat walks over a corpse, a wine bottle must be buried with the body and later consumed by relatives to break the curse.
So is the cat part of the wine part? There's
because,
two facts.
because the cat walked over the dead person,
Okay, so you
over
fell
corpse.
in the street and a cat came over you.
No, you have to be dead.
Yeah, but let's say you died
Corpse.
just now. You walked down to the
Yes,
shop
at
and
any time from your dead, if a cat walks over
you tripped, fell, died, cat
if
goes
a cat
over you.
walks over
Okay.
you have to take a wine bottle, a full one, not an empty one. It must be buried with the body and later consumed by relatives to break the curse.
Yeah, well, this also goes into a deeper valley of before I stabby you, I'm going to throw a cat on you. So
No,
cat
you
goes,
don't want to throw the cat on you because
No.
then if you throw the cat, you cause the curse.
No, this says that.
If the cat walks over you, the way to fix it is by the wine bottle. This sounds like a very nice reason to drink. But other than that,
It's for when you want to go dig up little
basically, if you
before
die,
you eat him.
if you die and a cat walks over you, you need to do the wine bottle. If you die and the cat does not walk over you, you do not need to do the wine bottle.
Okay,
The
but-
cat is the curse.
Okay, so the cat is the curse.
The cat is the curse.
Okay.
Okay, and
So
then
no stabby.
you don't have to stab them. No, they're not a
But you
Strigoi.
can stabby.
Yes.
So so they know about stabby. Now you have to do the wine bottle as well. So why not just stabby?
I don't know. We can go there on vacation sometime and find out.
No
Pierce-
stabby.
Piercing a corpse with a needle, can prevent it from leaving the grave.
That's a strange one. What needle? Like
I was also wondering because, like, you have these needles that help with your muscles. So, are you trying to just get the muscles to not work? What's the idea?
because obviously anything that died in a hospital, let's say recently.
And where do you put the needle? In an
Yeah.
eye, in a bone, in a nose?
But do they mean like needle more like maybe a pine
They
needle?
didn't
Like from a
specify.
tree?
They didn't specify. No, I'm guessing it's a needle, like a needle that you thread with or something.
Well, then it's easy. So you do the big stabby, then you do the small stabby, then you do the bottle of wine.
And then you drink.
Then there's no more.
do you
no
drink
more
first and then
Strigoi.
do the rest? I don't know. Okay, so
I'm
what
not really getting the needle part.
They didn't say much about it. That's what I
I
found.
understand the stabbing. I understand the cat thing is weird. But let's go.
How's the
with it.
cat thing weird? Most things. The only thing that's weird about it doesn't say black cat. So many myths or I don't know, stuff people are scared of is black cats.
Remember, black cat is more a witch thing.
Okay, but they incorporate witch and ghost
but
and
more
everything
like
here.
witch thing, like American witch thing, like.
This is America. No, this is Russia, sorry.
No, this is Romania.
Romania, sorry.
It's 2 flights and a bus away. I'm trying to think. What was that thing in America? The witch trials. No.
There is blue, no? Salem witch trials.
Salem witch trials. That was more black cat vibes. I think that's where the black cat came in. Was like the American old burn at the stake vibes.
Yes, but see, there was the problem. They believed in witches and Dracula, and they didn't have the full cultural background that we have here of the family members. I don't know. I'll have to research that to get that part.
This is just getting to cats. It's actually very funny. You go from America, where cat is bad, to
everywhere black cat is normally bad. And I like black cats. I had a black cat.
Except in the middle. Here by Egypt, like cats were the most amazing thing ever. They were absolutely worshipped.
And it was actually black cats. I think I can swear most of the pictures was black or was grey. It was black cats.
Well, it's all hieroglyphs, so kind of all sandy and brown.
Again.
Stop touching my mouse.
That's not your mouse, it's your space bar. Sorry.
That's what I call it.
Anyway, so let's move on here. What do Strigoi crave, you ask? They can feed on humans or vampires. I don't know if that's pronounced correctly. I'll check that on a different episode. But their true hunger lies in the Moroi blood. Once again, those are both different types of vampires. So I'll get the way to pronounce it in another episode, and I'll look more into that in another episode. But so the Strigoi feeds off of humans, vampires, and Moroi. But the Moroi blood is the most intoxicating for them. It enhances their powers, yet their hunger is never satisfied. They drink because they love to kill.
Okay, so what do you say? Dampris? Let's make this spectacular. Dampris. And then Moroi. Because Moroi is also vampire, I believe.
Yes, so this was the interesting part. I thought I was going to just go into the Dracula type of vampire. That's what I knew vampires as. Then I went down this very big rabbit hole of how many vampires there are actually out there. You don't just get one type of vampire, you get a lot of type of vampires. So this is something we'll definitely do a deep dive in another episode. But yes, it's just a little too much for one episode at this stage. So we'll look at another episode.
But they're all stabby.
Everyone has their own type of.
Does any of these, well, especially on the Strigoi, something about silver killing them? Does the myth about silver come in at some point in the Strigoi, or the Dampris, or the
Not in the
Moroi?
Strigoi, if I'm right. The other ones,
Moroi.
I think the Moroi.
Well, if it's Strigoi, it'll be Moroi.
Okay, so Moroi and Dampier.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I have to start speaking Romanian now.
So basically, I think we'll make like a fan episode or something and post it about the different types of vampires, because yes, there's just a lot. It's a lot of information.
It was interesting seeing.
I tried to get it, just got way too long and way too deep, and we lost the whole point of the
big
Romanian
rabbit hole. It was like what vampire is where, what is each vampire, the powers of each vampire, what kills each vampire. That actually will be quite fun.
Yes, so I think we'll make that a fan page.
Well, basically, from what I've read now, is just stabby. Just keep on stabbing. If someone dies, just stab them.
But with what?
No, just stabby.
No, I don't think stabby is gonna. I think you should get off the stabby train. Anyway.
Okay, but then let's get back to Strigoi. How do you kill a Strigoi?
So a silver stake through the heart, decapitation, or fire, burning them to ashes. dig up the body and remove the heart, burn the heart to ashes, mix the ashes with water, and have the family drink it.
So is this all
That
one
I have to
process?
say, I can do all of this, but the ashes and the whatever, I think that's gonna be my limit.
But is this all part of the same? Is this one formula, or can you pick any
I'm
one of
trying to. It's contradicting.
them?
So
Yeah, because it feels like it says stake through the heart. Okay, fine. Dead, so stabby, dead.
I
But
think
now I have
it's-
to drink your heart.
I'm not sure. I'm trying. It's difficult to find a lot about it, but I think it depends on what type of Strigoi it is and so on. But
So
anyway,
whether it's the ghost one or the poltergeist one.
yes, and
Because how do you take the heart out of a poltergeist?
well, you still take it out of the dead relative.
Well, if they're not floating around.
But if the dead relative's heart is gone, then it doesn't matter if they float. Then I guess they disappear.
Okay, but that's something you see in quite a lot of the myths and the lures is burning whatever's the problem.
Normally, burning was witches, and staking the heart or decapitation was vampires.
What was werewolves? Silver bullet.
Silver bullet, yes. But again, that's the Hollywood.
But now we've got silver stake. Not a wood stake.
A silver stake, yes.
Yeah, because in
Vamp-
Van Helsing and all that, that's a wooden stake.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
What happened to Buffy?
She's still there.
Okay.
Okay, so now that we know what makes them so terrifying, let's look at how someone can become a Strigoi. That would help. According to the folklore, there are two ways. By force, a Strigoi drinks the victim's blood and forces them to drink their own in return.
Okay, wait, so does the Strigoi have to drink the blood from your body?
Yes.
Or can I just slit my wrist, put it in the cup for you, and you drink it?
Well, I'm assuming from your body because it's still warm, but I guess, I don't know.
Because I don't really see them saying it has to be from
Well, it says by force, so I'm
by
guessing.
force.
I don't
Okay.
know, maybe they take a silver stake and cut you and.
And how much does he have to drink? Can you just like lick your ear and then?
Ew. Why ear?
Well,
What?
no, I don't know. I went to ear now. It was like, what if your ear is bleeding and the Strigoi comes up and then licks your ear and then
I'm
says,
pretty sure it
"Shh,
will be
just let it
neck
happen."
or wrist or somewhere where there's a nice big pulse to drink. So let's just assume it's that. I don't have the 100% facts. Unfortunately, no Strigoi wanted to sit and discuss it with me in full. And then obviously you can become a Strigoi by choice. Morgua, we're still trying to figure that one out, can choose to become a Strigoi, but at a great cost. If a Morgua kills while feeding, they lose their magic connection to the sun. I didn't look into what the magic connection is. Once again, we'll look into that later. So any hope of redemption will be lost for a Morgua if they turn a Strigoi. Or they make this.
This is strange. I think you have to go into more or to much more than this. This feels like a small vampire becoming a big vampire, or a half vampire, or a halfling becoming a full.
I'm still trying to figure it out. Originally, I
Harry
thought
Potter becoming a troll.
the Morgua was your more important vampire, and the Strigoi was half this small, frail little thing. But as I tried to go deeper into it, I cannot figure out which vampire is the strongest or the better, or which one you'd prefer to be. The fact that you lose your magical powers tells me that you want to be a Morgua, because obviously you have to go into redemption. If I'm right, a Morgua is a live vampire. But like I say, let's move on from that. It doesn't help me. I want to do a deep dive into that for fan base, and we'll load it.
So folklore says you can by force and by choice, but we spoke about earlier the pregnant woman looking at a vampire also becoming a vampire.
That's true. It's contradicting. Unfortunately, I think it's that what they learned from the villagers. I'd really love to go there and talk to the villagers, but obviously they're also a bit tight-lipped because you don't want trouble with vampires. But I'd love to find out firsthand from them. Unfortunately, here and there I have contradicting information that I try to put together, and when I go through what I see more that's mentioned more than twice or so on, and then I work with that and try to get your folklore.
Because it feels like anything can make you become a vampire.
No, if you're a redhead or seventh kid, it's not anything. The first 6 kids are safe.
Until you get pregnant and look in the wrong direction.
Or don't use salt.
And don't use
But
salt.
yes, so unfortunately I'm using all the information I can get, which isn't super much, but it's
No,
still
because
there.
it feels like the by force one is the one everybody knows about a vampire. Vampires do drink blood and then you become a vampire. And,
Well, normally you die, but yes.
well, you die and then become a vampire.
No, I don't think all vampires.
That's where
become
vampire and zombie crosses. When vampire bites you, you become vampire.
Doesn't it? No, I've always known that if they don't drain you completely, you can become a vampire, but if they drain you completely, you're dead.
That's Twilight.
Then you go into ash. No, I'm not thinking of Twilight. Well, that too, yes. But no,
Twilight
it's not.
is bite zombie vampire done. Then there's the blade vampire, which is something different.
Says the person that doesn't know much about Twilight. But anyway.
Never seen it.
So
Only the first one and the last one. And the one in between.
So anyway, there is a rare way to bring Strigoi back to life. A silver stake must be charmed with all 4 elements: air, earth, fire, and water. Now here's the part where I think the Morgua is stronger, because it's supposed to be a Morgua that does this. A spirit user, a rare Morgua, so it's not all of them, with life-giving magic must enchant this stake. That's why I think they're more important, because they can actually save you. But also, it's not all of them, it's just one. So, and my question is, when do you know which one is which? When the enchanted stake is driven into the Strigoi's heart, they are reborn instead of dying. But the question remains, would they ever be the same again?
Well, now we're talking about something completely fictional.
It's not fictional. Just because you're not a believer doesn't mean all of us aren't a believer.
Something mythical now has to have like a purpose in life.
Don't make me kick you out of this podcast.
And then what? Where will I go? Anyway, no, it's just, why would I care if you're going to be the same again? What if you were the poltergeist again? You're back now.
No, I think they want to be the nice family member type.
This just feels like it's the end of a nice little novel for some teenage girls. That there's some way of fixing you. It's like that movie Dead Bodies. There's Dead Bodies. Warm Bodies.
I don't know.
Warm Bodies.
Oh!
Yeah, where the zombie became back to life again.
I don't think you're supposed to give the people spoilers.
Sorry, spoiler alert. Don't watch it.
No. Don't knock it.
Fine.
Anyway. Now that we have more background on the Strigoi, let's return to the true story of Toma Petra. After Toma Petra's death in December 2003, his family apparently believed that he had become a Strigoi. They then proceeded to perform the ritual to kill, air quotes kill, because he was already dead, the already dead human, now vampire, by removing his head and burning it.
I want to listen to this 1 second.
Muroi.
Well, it can't
So
be.
it's not a Murgua, it's
From
a Muroi.
Romanian, it's Moroi and
Strigoi.
Strigoi.
Okay, so
But
sorry
they're
people.
spelled the same. Anyway, sorry.
It's Muroi. Okay,
And
so
Moroi means poltergeist.
like I said, it's about don't just Google one part. There's a lot deeper to go into.
What I need to know, it's because
We're back
I've been
Toma
stabby
Petras.
stabby and poltergeisting all the way now. Now
Okay,
I know.
when you're now the family that had to kill
Okay.
their dead relative.
To kill the dead relative.
Yes.
How do
Removing
you-
its heart and removing his heart and burning it. The part that still gets me is that they then mixed the ashes with water and drank it. Like I said, that's I think that's the one part that I won't be able to do. Apparently they believed that would stop the supposed haunting. The shocking event took place in February 2004. Okay, so unfortunately for Thomas' family, the police do not agree with them. The police state that vampires aren't real and dead bodies in graves aren't to be dug out and killed again, even by relatives.
Is this a Romanian family now?
Yes.
In Romania?
Yes. An actual
So-
family that
but
dug
so
up their
it
relatives.
feels like this family is back in a world where
No, this is I read up. This village believes this whole village. It's
But the
everybody.
police don't of this village.
Yes, the police say no.
Because it feels
story.
like we're back going into, let's say, New Yorkish vibes.
If
so
I-
the Romanian family in New York, and that feels like a movie we can start directing.
This is how it's my opinion. It's not what I'm saying. I think the police went on outside pressure. So the outside world figured out something was happening that was weird, and then they had to do something. So I don't know if it's a pressure from the outside world that this is not okay to do something to dead bodies because you're vandalizing a grave or whatever, or if it's the police actually believe there isn't vampires. I think it's pressure from the outside world. I think these police also believe in this. They just can't say it.
Okay.
Because if you look at the background of the village, most of them believe it. I can't say all of them, but most of them believe this. But so anyway, they said, can't dig up your relatives. Flora, I'm going to butcher this, Marineshke. It's Peter's sister, whose husband is accused of re-killing him, pleaded. What did we do? If they're right, he was already dead. If we're right, we killed a vampire and saved 3 lives. Is that so wrong? Like I say, the villagers agree with the family in this matter, or most of them appear to agree. According to reports, little children are taught to slay vampires and later pass the custom down to their children. Mass plagues, murders, anything that looks suspicious is seen as a vampire attack. So Pieter-Louis, if you just look there...
Well, that's what I meant earlier, is it feels like everything was now, they now have a name. Anything was now Strigoi. So a Strigoi can be anything.
Like
it can be the poltergeist, it can be the random cat.
You're thinking wider. The reason it's a Strigoi is because it's the same person. It's not different people. So they see their same family member, and that is why they got one name. You can't be a witch and a poltergeist and a vampire and this and a that, and it's the same person. That's why they are a Strigoi. If the whole family sees the same person in different ways, I saw him as a ghost, I saw him in my dreams, I saw him as a poltergeist above my head, whatever.
But that's just hysteria. That's all it is. It's you freaking out, the next one freaking out, everybody's freaking out. Meanwhile,
That's
it was
your
just
opinion.
that was just a dove flew into the window,
It's
and
like-
now everybody's freaking out.
It's like his sister says, if they're right, he was already dead. If we're right, we killed a vampire and saved 3 lives. It's the same concept. You're saying it's mass hysteria, they're saying we didn't do anything wrong. According to you, he's dead, so what's the problem?
Well, if the police let one person dig somebody up, that means I can go dig somebody up.
Yes,
and then do whatever I want with said body.
well, this is a family member, so obviously it's my family. I can do with my family.
But where do you
around.
draw the line? I'm allowed to dig up,
Yes, well, this is
uncle,
what the
aunt,
police basically.
make a stew because we're family. I don't know.
Anyway, I have 3 photos of the graveyard and the actual grave and its cross and so on. Why don't you describe it for us, Pieter-Louis?
So is all three of these is Thomas.
So it's
The
the graveyard
bit
where
there.
his grave is. Then the second photo is his cross at
That's
his
a
grave.
really, really creepy graveyard.
And
It's jumping at us.
oh, makeshift wall is falling on me. Anyway, one day I'll own my own studio.
No,
Until then,
this is a crazy little graveyard because this looks exactly like I imagined a vampire graveyard would look like. I can shoot movies in this.
it is very scary.
Yeah, it's like this typical, well, let's say Romanian graveyard with gravestones, a cross on the top, and the body of and just the rectangle at the bottom. It's like just everywhere. It feels like
All
everything's
the gravestones are skew.
nothing's pointing in the same direction.
I don't know.
Interesting.
How do they know where the bodies are?
I know. Basically, historically, if you are buried north to south, you are a normal person. If you are buried east to west, like lying east to west, that means you were a murderer or a something else.
I actually knew that fact. Yes.
Yeah, but anyway, looking at this, it's like.
How do you know which way they're buried?
They're looking all of them directions. Maybe they didn't know where north was. Anyway, and then the newer cross. This doesn't really look like the same place.
It
With
is.
the newer
It's,
crosses.
it is the cemetery in Marontinu de Sas, Romania, where Petra was alleged to have risen from the dead.
This
So
is not the
this-
second one with the red cross.
So all three of them are the same place. The red cross just actually his cross. I'm not sure if this cross was put after he was. I don't know if they just bury you, don't have a stone, so then they normally put something so they know where you are. Or if it was later when he was dug up, that other family members or somebody maybe put it back there to just show this was where you were.
But also, this kind of feels more like a crypt, not a grave.
I have to agree.
It's not a closed crypt. It's like those
But
cement crypts
also, if you look
in
at
the
the top
ground.
photo where they say it's the same place, you don't see those crypts.
You
They
don't
all
see the
look
crypts.
under-
There, farther back, there seems to be something like a
So
crypt.
maybe this was like a family plot on there.
You see, all 14,000 children, all the number 7s that became Strigois.
We're buried together.
Yeah, it just doesn't really feel like the same thing.
But
the creepy photo and the actual photo isn't that. Well, they say it might be, but it's a crypt, and the crosses are different.
I
as
will
well.
try and post the photos and so on. I will see where I can post them so everybody can look at them. It was out of a blog post and so on where I found these of somebody telling their story and actually visiting there. So it was quite interesting. But yes, tell us about the cross, tell us about the grave.
Yeah, so the graveyard, like I said, it's like typical zombie movie. It looks like everything's already risen from there. I'm not sure if it's the same place. Like I'm just looking at it again. And then the next image is basically just this red cross with inscription on it. It says Toma Petre, December XII 2007. Might be.
I think it's December 25 or 26.
But this is like just a makeshift cross. It's like two pieces of 2x4.
That's what I'm saying. I think
Painted
that's
red.
either the first one they put in before the
Yeah.
actual stone was created with his details on, or it was put there afterwards after they broke his. Because if you look at the last picture
And the last picture is a crypt on the ground that's broken open
with the actual
with another
cross,
cross on it.
but that cross is a stone cross.
I
That's
just
what
wish
I'm
I could
saying.
read what it says, but you can't.
They're saying that is his actual grave.
Okay.
So it's I did get it on different places and so on. I'm gonna try and post it somewhere and then just explain where you can find it. But it was quite interesting. But yes, you can always see how it's broken open. They went in there to get him out. So a villager, Dominika Brankushi, sorry guys, I'm gonna butcher so many names, said that hearts has been taken out of dead men's chests many times before. There has been dozens of dead men who turned into vampires and were haunting us, he said. But usually the families of the dead man who was haunting people made a pact with those people and agreed not to say anything about the ritual until this case. No fuss was ever made about this. That's what this guy says. It's happened for generations. It's just this family that made an issue. Why? Or this time the police had something to say.
Well, this was 2003 to 2004. It's not social media's fault. It's not the media. Well, that was the media.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
think
think
that's
it's
just a
pressure.
media thing, yeah.
Pressure from the
Yeah.
outside world. Some way they found out.
Yeah, because in 2004 was basically when media actually started taking over the world. Not social media yet, but media. Just everything went to TV in 2004. So it might just be that.
It's possible. So Pieter-Louis, will you read Montesquieu's statement to the police after he was arrested? So this is the sister of the deceased husband. It's the brother-in-law.
Because this is the brother-in-law that we
Yes.
use. Okay. I'm going to try my best Romanian accent.
No, let's skip the accent and
okay.
just do the...
If we hadn't done anything, my wife, my son, and my daughter-in-law would have died. That is when I decided to unbury him. I've seen these kinds of things before. When we took him out of the grave, he had blood around his mouth. He said, TB. Anyway,
the rest of the family felt better.
we took his heart and his side when we stabbed him. Again, TB. It's what do you call it? Air in the
Well, if
lungs.
you're decomposing, I did actually look at read it and we'll
It's
discuss it.
decomposition, yeah, but
Just read what he said and then we'll discuss it.
Okay. Um, he sighed when we stabbed him. Uh, we burnt it, I'm guessing
The heart.
the heart, dissolved the ash into water, and the people who had fallen sick drank it. They got better immediately. It was like someone took away all their pain and sickness. Again, hysteria. We performed a ritual that is hundreds of years old. We had no idea we were committing a crime. On the contrary, we believed that we were doing a good thing because the spirit of Petre was haunting us all and very close to killing some of us. He came back from the dead and was after us.
So basically,
So what I'm seeing is this is TB. This is 2004. There is antibiotics.
yes, but they're not drinking the antibiotics. So
No,
it
but you wouldn't know
cannot be
because
TB.
remember in the 1890s there wasn't antibiotics. So that means if you did see someone with TB, probably died. Now you've got it in your system. Now we are stronger people than we were back in
no.
1880s.
Still today, if you have TB, you need medication.
You
to
still
live.
need, but you won't.
No, you'll
It will
die.
be treated.
No, you'll die.
No,
you have to
we
treat
can-
it.
I'm not a doctor or anything, but I'm
No.
pretty
yeah,
sure.
no.
But you don't get it as easily now.
And they won't feel better, that's for sure. They'll feel
Yeah, but
worse.
I think that's just hysteria.
No.
It
I
was
don't agree with
because
you. He turned into a Strigoi. You just don't, you're just not a believer.
No, I don't think.
But I did look into the sighing part to see, are you maybe full of gases or so on, and it is part of the comp.
But also
But they're
TB.
saying he looked good, he had blood on his lips. Not red lips, blood on his lips.
Because in TB, when you've got TB, you cough.
None of
Yeah.
you dead.
Well, you don't know what they just ate his heart. Who said they did a whole proper burial thing? Why did they maybe just plant him in the ground?
It was 6 weeks, so this happened 6 weeks after he was buried.
Yes.
So basically, they did a full burial, normal burial. He was properly cleaned, everything, put in a coffin and put underground. And 6 weeks later, because the family felt ill, they dug him up and did this. So no, you cannot say, oh, they didn't clean up properly. There was blood on his
But like I
lips
said,
that
that's the thing
was
about-
not there. He couldn't
That's the
cough.
thing about the TB.
If he was still alive, he could cough. If he wasn't, then he's a vampire. So did the vampire have TB?
Vampire TB. I'm gonna wait.
So this is insane. The blood around his mouth, the sigh. I really hope police do not look at my search history anytime soon, because I had to know what bodies look like after being buried for 6 weeks. According to Al Overview on Google's, a deceased body would likely be decomposed and exhibit bloating due to internal gases. Fluids can leak from the mouth, but not blood. What is interesting here is that the family says he looked normal. Not that he was being eaten by maggots and that his body was discolored or decomposing, which is what a dead body is supposed to start looking like after 6 weeks. So, yeah, that was a bit interesting. So, charges were brought against the 6 men after Thomas' daughter, Flora Contoran, who had since left Marutunul the Sas, complained about what happened to her father's body. So here's the thing. Thomas Petra's daughter complained that the family did this. So not all the villagers believed this. I don't know if his daughter was taken out of the village early on or why she didn't believe in this, but she complained, which is how the police actually found out. So, yes, so apparently not everybody believes in vampires, I guess.
Or maybe she doesn't want to drink the hot ashes water.
No, but she wasn't there. She moved away. She just heard about it and was upset and contacted the police and said they dug up my dad and killed him again.
And she wasn't part of the hysteria.
I don't believe in your hysteria theory. The whole world is not going to go into hysteria. The whole village is not going to go in hysteria.
Why wasn't she haunted by Strigoi, wherever she moved to?
Maybe she was and she didn't believe in it. She had an idea like you that it's hysteria, I just have to get over it, and they saved her.
No, you've lost me there.
I'm going to kick you out of this podcast, I'm telling you now. Georgia Marinescu, the brother-in-law, and his 5 relatives were sentenced to 6 months in jail for the unlawful exhumation of the body of Toma. Whether you believe in vampires or not, the legend of the Strigoi tells us something about human nature. Fear of the unknown, the need to explain misfortune, and the desperate hope to protect our loved ones. It all plays a role in why these myths endure. And in Romania, where the traditions run deep, some of these ancient beliefs still hold power today. What do you think? Could a Strigoi be real? Or are they just the echoes of old superstition? Perhaps the real terror isn't the undead, it's the power of the belief itself. After all, if enough people fear something, doesn't it make it real in its own way? Let us know your thoughts, and if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe and join us next time for another deep dive into the myth and legends from around the world. I believe that there could be Strigoi.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Until next time, stay curious and keep the legends alive. Bye.
Bye.